I was surprised to find out that Game Awards still exist. And it's not shocking that I didn't know because apparently they have like two viewers watching. These are publications that are in severe decline. So the very fact that they even host Game Awards makes you wonder, like, for whom? For whom are they hosting it? But apparently it's a big deal inside the industry, and people are shocked to find out two things. Number one, they're actually now hiding the jury. So, like, they don't want you to know who's voting on these things. But you don't really need to know because, like, once you read a progressive game publication, you read all of them. They copy paste their articles anyway. They hire the same like minded people anyway. So, if it's Polygon or Kotaku, same shit to me, right? But secondly, they want to trademark the name. So basically, if, let's say, a couple of YouTubers wanted to make like Game Awards, then using that name would actually be an infringement. So they want to be the only ones that get to decide. Now, my take on Game Awards is that it's just like an expanded marketing arm of the corporations. It's no different than an advertisement. It's really no different than anything else these AAA companies are doing. And you will see this when the Game Awards come out. It's like if you're outside of the clique, if you're an indie company, if you're like something that's outside of California or outside of California culture, like for instance, you're making a Stellar Blade or something like that, then it actually has to be spectacular in order to compete. Like you need to make Wukong be absolutely amazing in order to be able to compete, and chances are it won't even win. Because it has to be like so undeniably amazing that even the corrupt judges would be like, well, we at least have to mention it. Meanwhile, if you make like some random Western AAA slop, you do like some Dragon Age Vanguard or some shit like that, even if it's mediocre, they will consider it and they will treat it with the respect that is due. So I always knew that this was the case. I don't think it's recent. The fact that, again, gaming awards are just like an expansion of the marketing team, and the fact that they're struggling to hide any transparency, the fact that they want to hide who the juries are and to make it so that people don't know, it just furthers my claim, right? Because if you have like, as again, like as a company that should actually provide transparency, and you're organizing a gaming award, there is no reason to hide anything. Like the whole process should be as transparent as possible. They also like only consider, I think, like 10% of the score what gamers think, which again is the elitism. It's like you take a random chucklehead from the street that doesn't know shit about video games, and you put them to have a position at Kotaku, and all of a sudden like they're more educated than the consumers themselves. It's a disgusting mindset. Um, the reality of the situation is that when Game Awards were actually a thing and they were popular, it was a time when every single month you had at least 50 or 40 games coming out. It's difficult to imagine, but there was a time like that. Like every single month there were so many video games coming out that it was impossible to keep up. Like if you actually wanted to buy video games and support companies, you couldn't keep up with anything. So like when the Game Awards came out, it was like, here's a list of games that you may have missed. And they would talk about these games, and you would be like, you know what, I'm interested in trying that. And especially with things cross-genre, because back then, not every single game was like a over-the-shoulder third-person shooter, right? Like back then, you had like video games that had various genres. And maybe you weren't a strategy fan, but like this strategy game had like a really interesting take. It had a really interesting mechanic, and maybe you would want to check it out, and you'd find out about it at the Game Awards. So they actually did serve a purpose to inform the public in a time when most people didn't play all the video games. But nowadays, how many video games come out? It's like not that many. I guarantee to you, Nikkei isn't even going to be there despite its popularity. Like I guarantee to you, you're not going to find out about fringe games that you may not know, right? Because like a lot of people dismiss phone games, but it would be like, hey, look at Snowbreaker, look what it's doing, and this is the story, and they're not going to do any of that shit, right? So it's not going to serve purpose. Instead, you probably know of all the games that came out for PC this year. You probably seen your streamers play it. You probably bought or play some yourself. So they can't gaslight anymore. They can't lie to you that this shit game Gone Home, that no one has heard about it, is actually a 10 out of 10 an amazing game. They can't even do that, right? So this is why they have two views. This is why no one watches them, because we already know the games that are coming out, we already know about it. And this is just masturbatory in nature. This is just for the shareholders, I suppose. Now, of course, they are still staffed by people that are cheeky little shits. They have a lot of arrogance and a lot of attitude, and I do understand why individuals on the internet wants to take them down a peg, and they should. And the way you can take them down a peg is, number one, ignore them. Just do not watch the Game Awards. There's nothing to watch anyway. Or if you want to watch it through your favorite streamer so that they don't get the clout and your favorite streamer gets the clout. That is one. Go watch Asmongold. Go watch whomever streams it. Just don't watch their live stream. Like that. That's one way you can stick it to them. And the other way you can stick it to them would be if YouTubers, like actual content creators, would want to do it. And you would need, like I know that, I got like 100,000 subscribers, give or take. But I'm not significant enough. Like, you would actually need people that do have big numbers. Like, you'd need an Asmongold, you need some VTubers, And if they would actually get together once a year and organize an online event that would be like a Game Awards, and they would, like, talk about the games that they liked, especially if there's like some niche games, like the VTubers can come up with a lot of crazy games that people haven't heard of. Like they can come up with Beat Saber games. They can they call rhythm games, right? They can come up with rhythm games, maybe some gacha games, maybe some shit that is popular in South Korea but we never heard about it. Some indie titles, right? Like the Coffin of Action and like shit that the Game Awards would never talk about anyway. Fringe stuff, and like maybe people won't like it. They'll be like, oh, well, this is just a gacha game, of course I'm not going to like it. But the competition is AAA. The competition is so vile, disturbing, and disgusting and shit that a fucking gacha game that 5 years ago would have been treated like crap is now like something that may actually get people interested in. This is what I was talking about. Like I was looking at some of the games that came out in 2016, and what was considered to be mediocre then would be superb quality now. So yeah, like this would actually help the industry if people like Asmongold and some VTubers, they got together and they hosted a competition, like a once a year Game Awards thing. It doesn't even have to be like something that you prepare too much. It's just like them, getting offline a couple of weeks before the event and talking about like, okay, these are the games that I have, these are the games that you have. What else did you play? All right, and then you have that and you let the audience vote. Holy shit, they would make a lot of money. And it would actually be fun and entertaining. And it would absolutely destroy these fart sniffers with their Game Awards. Because at the end of the day, the public votes. They can pretend they have influence. But if you have like someone just starting off a stream and they get like 300,000 people watching, and then you have like the Game Awards that have like 5,000 or 6,000 people, They can pretend they're popular, but at the end of the day, the numbers will speak. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.